It is time for LTM week number 3 against Kurt. This season has been going pretty poorly so far. Some bad team building decisions, some bad play decisions. Hopefully we've rectified that. I feel like I've got a good build this week. And let's get right into it. If you're excited for today's video, make sure to subscribe if you have not already. We're almost at 1,000. We're almost 100 away now from 1,000 subscribers. So every subscription from this point forward helps so much towards hitting our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Let's get into the matchup against Kurt. Kurt is the GOAT. Kurt does all the thumbnails on this channel, so he does thumbnails for almost everyone. It feels like in the draft community, so big shout out to him. He is super awesome, so all the good thumbnails and cool ideas that come out, hey, credit to him. But this matchup is kind of like the perfect low tier matchup, right? There are so many powerful threats here on this team that you don't necessarily see in the top levels, mainly because they kind of got flaw. Like they've got the power, right? Like Terra for Alligator has got the power in Draft League, but like it just doesn't really fit a lot of the times. It fits super well in a low tier with Terra. Terra for Alligator in this matchup is a problem. I do not have effective tools to deal with that Pokemon. Hawlucha as well. That Pokemon really good. Good in standard as well. Obviously you're going to see it more, do some defog stuff, use its speed a little bit to kind of flip some matchups. Very good Pokemon. Porygon Z. Now my team a little bit better at handling Porygon Z than I think a lot of other teams are going to be. The Tri-Attack from like a choice specs, like adaptability or even download is going to be a problem for a lot of teams in this season. Unfortunately not mine. Reverum, another good setup sweeper. But the main thing to look for here is Kurt's got a really good defensive core around this. And our end game is going to be based around Choice Scarf Munkidori, which we'll get to in a second. And his team, his offensive threats all get packed up by it. But his defensive core does a lot in terms of preventing me from getting that win with that Pokemon. So that's going to be our game plan to focus in on, lock in on, is how do we beat this defensive core to enable a Choice Scarf Munkidori endgame. And that starts with a big way to deal a lot of damage. Choice Specs Gudra Hisui. He has no fairy type, so we're clicking Draco Meteor with Choice Specs every chance we get. We get 3 other moves, but they're really only there for accuracy. And if he does bring a fairy Terra, like if he has like Terra for Alligator that's fairy, for example, or Chimecho, we have Flash Cannon, Dragon Pulse is there. As I said, accuracy, a little bit of speed to outspeed that Chestnut and Swampert to get it to a KO if need be. And then Thunderbolt is there just to have a move for regular for Alligator if he's like Terra Water, for example, instead of a random other Terra type. But that doesn't matter. We're clicking Draco Meteor every chance we get and breaking through as much damage as possible to enable that Munkidori endgame. Next Pokemon on the team is Nasty Plot Sinistra. The moves that really matter here are the 3 moves here, the Strength Sap, Matcha Gotcha, and Hex. We're Hex this week because we need a move to hit the Chestnut. Otherwise, which is Wallace. It's obviously hard for Chestnut to come in and risk getting burned by Matcha Gotcha. But I don't think it wants. I think it still has a good opportunity to come in here, right? Especially where I'm Terra Water. Terra Water here. I really just went back and forth on this Terra type all week. We had even a lot of extra time going into this week because we played on Thursday, considering vacation schedules. I couldn't come up with a better Terra type. So unfortunately, that means we might have to attack the Chestnut. We have a little bit of speed here to protect against, random creeps from the Chestnut, for example, that might want to take advantage of this. But Nasty Plot here is just a way to give Hack some more damage and more power in situations where we need to click it against something like Chestnut. But overall, this Pokemon's going to come in on Swampert, going to come in on stuff like Uxie, and it's just going to click Matcha Gotcha and Hex and deal as much damage as possible in this battle, with Nasty Plot to deal a little bit extra if need be. Mudsdale Rocky Helmet is my rocker this week. It's also my Hawlucha answer. Roar, just a roar at any random setup shenanigans that might get out of hand with Unburden. But then the real kind of tech on this set is we have Smackdown this week. 1, to allow me to hit Hawlucha with Earthquake. And 2, I expect stuff like random Uxie and Miss Maggie's to switch in. That was kind of some of the play patterns we were seeing in mocks. Obviously, Chestnut is a pretty obvious switch in. But depending on his set, if I get spikes up with my Frostlass in the early game, he might not want to do that as much. And in pre-Terra, Sinistra comes in every time and puts up a lot of pressure on his team. So thinking those Pokemon want to come in because they might feel like they have a little bit better matchups. But Smackdown really there to allow me to hit the Hawlucha with Earthquake rather than relying on something like Stone Edge to deal damage, which is just not going to work out well in the future or in this battle. So this set really, though, it's Stealth Rocks and Roar. That's what we're here to do with this Pokemon, and use Stamina Rocky Helmet to really outlast something like the Hawlucha. Next up is our win condition, Choice Scarf Munkidori. This set also, what's really nice about this set, outspeeds +2 Adamant for Alligator. We ran in, did some mock testing, tested against some agility for Alligator. So this set kind of helps beat that. If you double Dragon Dance this with an Adamant set, we can outspeed that. The only thing that really holds us back from for Alligator's perspective is Aqua Jet does a lot even without the +1, so that's going to be something to note. But the main thing we have to do in this matchup is weaken Swampert, weaken Mismagius, and weaken Uxie, and this Pokemon can just sweep our opponent's team in the endgame. Just clean up with Choice Scarf Psychic or Choice Scarf Sludge Wave. Either or, depends on how the situations play out. Such a clean win condition, honestly, for this battle. Something that Munkidori has not been known for before, which is being a clean way to win the game. It's usually struggles its way through games at best at times. Other Choice Scarf user here, Frostlash. This is the lead this week. I want to get up spikes as much as possible here because that's going to make it easier for Munkidori in the endgame. To weaken stuff like Swampert, weaken stuff like Revavroom. Revavroom is like surprisingly really problematic against this team, especially where Mudsdale is going to be relied on for Hawlucha. So we want to make sure that Pokemon can't come in more than once. And then Choice Scarf Destiny Mon gives me additional counterplay to the Feraligatr. As I said, I think it's really hard for Feraligatr to run Aqua Jet this week, so this is going to give me reliable counterplay to that Pokemon as well. And then Will-O-Wisp is just nice here, right? Like he could go into something like Swampert or Uxie. Those Pokemon getting burned makes it so much easier to handle those Pokemon the rest of the battle. And then Spidaf to Dunsparce for stuff like the Mismagius, for the Porygon C. Obviously, the Goodra can switch into these Pokemon well as well and take advantage of those turns for free Draco Meteors. But to Dunsparce, that's a lot of damage to take, right? So we need some additional defensive firepower, if you will, in that sense. So Roost, Boomburst, Earth Power, and Shadow Ball. Just 3 attacks. Roost to keep ourselves healthy because Porygon's Tri-Attack is obviously going to be doing a lot of damage in this battle. And that is a team for a battle against Kurt. This is a big one. I think Will-O-Rush was the only one to help with the mock this week, so shout out to Will-O-Rush. Maybe Cinerath, I can go through the chat. I think Cinerath might have actually given me one as well. Either way, I think Cinerath's still in the chat. So either way, that's what I got for today's battle. Make sure to subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we'll see you guys in the battle. All right, time for the battle. Kurt's Terra Captain is Feraligatr. It is a flying type today, which was not exactly the type I was thinking, which does mean my Terra Water Sinisha will operate a little bit better in this battle. He has brought a few things we didn't necessarily expect. I thought Hawlucha had a weird matchup here today, mainly because Mudsdale can kind of wall a lot of its sets, but I imagine as like a defog kind of gambit, this will be really good. I'm still going to lead off my Frostlass, right? The game plan is just to get up a spike here at the start. I do have Choice Scarf to have Choice Scarf Destiny Bond in that late game. I could also put some damage on his team. But the game plan here is to get up a hazard, get on multiple hazards even, and start really making pressure in this game with stuff like the Choice Specs, Goodra, Hisui. So Swampert is just going to lead. Perfectly fine, okay with this. I just want to get up a spike early, right? If he flip turns into something else, that's okay. I can just go into my Sinisha after if he tries to do something a little bit bullshit, but that will be I'm fine with. I think we're just going to see a flip turn. Okay, perfect. Curse Buddy disables the flip turn. Obviously, that does not matter. And he's going to think he broke his sash, but we're Choice Scarf. So hey, we get up a hazard early. If he wants a defog with Hawlucha, I'll just set up a Stealth Rock with my guy, right? Let's see what he wants to go into. He's just going to go straight into Gator. Interesting. I am Choice Scarf, which is a little bit funny. That's actually not great here. Now, this presents an interesting turn, right? I think... So what's interesting about this turn is it's hard for me to go into the Sinisha on a Terra Blast flying. Realistically, I have all of the coverage to go into my Goodra Hisui this turn. Now, this could mean that Porygon becomes a little bit problematic as we go into that mid game. But I do think I have to take that risk here, right? So this is a Dragon Dance set. That's good to know. It would have obviously been nice to have gone into my other Pokemon, but alas, that is what it is. We should be able to live any hit that this Pokemon wants to throw at us unless it's literal superpower.
And then that gives us a little bit more to go with. If it is Dragon Dance Superpower, I mean, can I play around that? Like, is it worth playing around? What could he be? Liquidation, Flying Move, Superpower. Seems okay against this team. I hate that I put myself in like a position like this super early where I feel like I'm second guessing. But I think I'll accept the reality of that if it happens. He's just gonna Earthquake. Oh, Earthquake was so obvious too, but I should live this. Yeah, perfect. And I drop a Draco and kill this Pokemon. There we go. Perfect. We'll take that off the rip. Look, this is not exactly where I thought like we were gonna leverage this Goodra Hisui. Definitely not how I thought we were gonna leverage it. But trading for Feraligatr early is like game changing, right? Like that Pokemon was so problematic to all of these end games. Now Porygon 2 sucks right now, right? Porygon 2 is a problem to deal with, and we have to be really mindful of that Pokemon now. But that means I can really just not Terramite Sinistcha this game, and just stay in a typing that's really beneficial for me to avoid like Choice Specs Tri Attack, right? I can then just get some nasty putts up, make some offensive pressure. Feraligatr going down, that is the game right there, right? Like that is what this game is going to be about. We're in here, in comes this Pokemon. It's really tough what I want to do here. I kind of want to save this, right? Because I do have the speed to outspeed this Swampert and get some more chip later. And force myself in a position to get a good Draco Meteor off. I think what I want to do is go into this. I can go Sinistcha. I think what I want to do is go Sinistcha at this point. One thing that's also really nice here is Choice Scarf. Munkidori does actually really a lot in this battle. To really put pressure on my opponent's team. He's just going to get up his Stealth Rocks. It makes sense. And this gives me a pretty good turn to, honestly, he's forced out. I'm going to just go for the Hex, right? Like, just put a little bit of chip on something like the Chestnut. I can go for the Matcha Gotcha. The problem is with Chestnut is I don't have a lot of good switch-ins to that Pokemon, given my team. I could also just, like, Nasty Plot and just start making a play there. I actually think I might, you know what? I think I'll just Hex off the rip, right? There's no reason not to. I'm trying to think, right, like where he would go. I think if he goes Chestnut, I'm just gonna Hex, right? Like he could get aggressive into Uxie here and just like Encore me, which like would obviously just be problematic. And he is just gonna go Uxie. Okay, I'll take that then. Obviously, I have to run Hex in this battle, just as a way to not get Mickey'd by the Chestnut Bulletproof ability. That's obviously really important here. And now we're in on this Pokemon for free, which is super nice. We need this Pokemon to be chipped to really effectively like have a chance, not have a chance in this battle, right? But this opens up Munkidori endgame so much to have this damage. I expect Knockoff to come out here, right? Like, Knockoff is, like, the best play. I could just go for another Hex, right? Is there nothing stopping me from doing that? No, let's just get some more damage. There's, like, a good chance it just has, like, a Citrus Barrier or something. But, like, if I just keep the damage up and I get in a situation where I get a free Draco Meteor off against this team, I'm really having a good time, I think. And I think this is the opportunity he takes to go into Chestnut. He could go Porygon 2 here, actually. That would be interesting. Tweaker. This is the Porygon, right? Or this is something else. Yeah. Interesting. Download. Special attack raise. Okay. Don't like that. Don't necessarily like that. I'm going to take a second here to do some calcs. The problem is this gives a pretty free kill here. Like he gets a pretty free kill. Would have really liked to have that HP on Goodra, of course. I mean, he's just gonna try. I'm gonna go the Dudunsparce. Dudunsparce, a lot of Dudunsparce's purpose is really kind of lost in this battle at this point. Given the set that he's brought. Oh, he has heavy duty boots as well. I should actually note that it's boots. I was calculating specs damage to do like some worst case scenario situations. This is just boots. Okay. Good to know. So some chip on this Pokemon will definitely put it, yeah, like a Boom Burst here is a really good turn, right? Like he doesn't have a good switch into Boom Burst. And if I put this thing in range of my Munkidori, then Munkidori endgame is looking very, very dominant at this point. So let's see. Little Boom Burst. What would I maybe like to catch? Maybe a Chestnut here? Chestnut, I mean, I do open myself up to having to potentially risk Munkidori, which I don't think I would. I think at that point I might just give up my Goodra, right? What are the situations where I'm sacking a Pokemon to Swampert and getting Goodra in? Pretty low. He's going to switch this Pokemon out. Okay, so Boots, Shadow Ball. In comes the Rain Man. Once again, chip on this Pokemon, also really, really nice, right? This is going to be... Damn, that's a 2-hit KO. Yeah, there's a J. Ricky Berry equipped. You get that Citrus right back up. So that means he's not going to be any nonsense. We're not going to see any like silliness coming from this Pokemon. I could just go back into Sinistcha. I could just sack my Goodra. I'm trying to think of like what is like an effective turn for him against this Dudunsparce. Like this has like... Like he does have like a Mirror Coat, which like could be interesting, obviously. I think I'm just gonna go into my Sinistcha, right? Let's just keep it simple. Let's just keep it simple right now. Let's not get too crazy with it. I'm at a point now where I think I'm comfortable Machigaching, catching, and he's gonna knock off. So I'm gonna take a lot of damage here. Not great, obviously. Lose my boots, take a lot of damage on that turn. But I really, really like this opportunity to get a Machigach off. Because if he goes into something like Chestnut, I can Strength Step, get all that HP back. Really feeling that. This thing's at a good range now after a spike to open up my Munkidori endgame. Really liking where that is going. And I still have my Terra that I can use at some point. I think the Terra, realistically, is going to be in a situation where... What is it? Hawlucha is in front. And we just need to Terra out of the weakness to the flying move. So that's where I think that's going to play out. But I'll get some good HP back here. He doesn't have a good switch into this. If he tries to get aggressive into something, if he tries to go like Porygon 2, I get the chip I need on that Pokemon. I can get a little burn, which would be nice. Get some HP back. If he goes Chestnut, I can get a nice little burn. I can get a little Strength Sap going. A lot of good turns for me here. A lot of really good turns for me. And he does go this Pokemon. Really need this to land, right? Like this landing is like what I need to make this game go well. Nice. Really, really good outcome here on this turn. Wow, that is right in range. That is what we needed on this turn, right? Just to get that Pokemon straight in range of Munkidori. The question here is, what does he want to click with this Pokemon? With the download and the agility. If he goes for the agility, I don't think it matters, right? I think I go to Dunsparce, the agility's up. He can't kill me with anything. And that chip is super crucial. That's super crucial. This end game with Munkidori that I'm trying to play to is just looking better and better every turn. So we'll see what he wants to do here. Obviously, I think my switch is pretty telegraphed, so I think a Tri-Attack is obvious. But I don't need to do anything crazy about it, right? I don't need to do anything wild with it. Yeah, he's just gonna Tri-Attack, right? Like that's just fine. It's a lot of damage, and we get a freeze. That's not awesome. That's a little funny. Shit. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, is there any reason for me to play this differently now? I was Boom Burst, right? He has to stay in and try to get. He can stay in and try to get the freeze. He goes Swampert. I get another chance to unthaw on Swampert. Like if he goes Swampert here to save this, because like the risk is still a little high, right? And then I can get a Roost off on Swampert. Yeah, I mean that's a little tough, right? I mean that's what Tri-Attack is there to do, of course, is to get like that like high percentage situation. But he is going to withdraw. He's going to play it really responsibly here. Really want to see. He's going to go Titanium. Is this a Chestnut? Yeah. And I am Frozen Solid. Okay. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. I think what I want to do is honestly go into my Sinistra, I think. I could sack off my Goodra at this point. Goodra does outspeed this Pokemon, which is also good to know. Yeah, this is not great. I think what I'm going to do actually is go hard into my Frostlass. I think Frostlass's utility is actually super low in this battle now. So I think I'm just going to go into this Pokemon, right? And if he just like attacks, like if he just goes for something like a close combat, then I get a free Choice Scarf Will-O-Wisp off on this Pokemon, or like on any Pokemon for that matter. And if he goes for a Wood Hammer, I get a free turn. Okay, so up go the Spikes. That's perfectly fine. And now he's got to switch into this Ice Beam. But this is a good burn for me. This is a good burn pretty much anywhere, right? I'm okay with like anything on his entire team coming in to take this burn. I think the only thing that could be like kind of funny if it's like Lumberry Hawlucha here on this turn, but I mean you can't switch an Ice Beam, right? Like that would be a curious click if that's what he went to. And he's got nothing he really wants to take this burn on, right? Like Uxie is like the obvious choice here because it also switches in well on Ice Beam. But one doesn't know that I'm Choice Scarf, first off. And two, that burn continues to help with the situation. He's just going to go into the Pert. Okay, so this burn will be super nice here. Let me get it here. Nice, okay. And that'll make a lot of the attacks that my opponent is going to click with this Pokemon just that much less effective. And now this Pokemon basically down, which means this opens up the Sludge Wave endgame, right? Like if I look at Sludge Wave Calc versus Hawlucha, obviously Sludge Wave does a lot, but like that Pokemon is obviously going to, I assume, get chipped down by our good pal, what's it called? Our good pal, Mudsdale at some point. I mean, you have to imagine a flip turn or a knock here, right? I'm trying to think, like, if I just, like, if I save a little Scarf Shadow Ball here, if that has some utility. Not a lot, right? I think I kind of just want to guarantee a free turn. I really want to get value out of this Goodra, though, right? Like, getting value out of this Goodra is so important. I'm just going to go into my Sinistra. The only problem, I don't think, I'm trying to think of, like, what possible Hawlucha sets can, like, get me here. That'd be really annoying. I don't know how many of them are really going to be effective in this spot. I think this is going to be a flip turn. He's just going to Surf. Okay, that's actually really good for me, then. I'll take that all day. I will take that all day. I could Strength Sap. That's obviously not... Strength Sap would be nice here, actually, maybe. Let's see. Sinistra. So I think Matcha Gachang is still the most productive turn. He can go Chestnut. I think I'm just going to Strength Sap, actually. Let's just get back to full HP, right? Let's just get a bunch of HP back. Either on this or on like a random switch in like Porygon. And if he does that and goes Porygon, right, then that I don't think he can risk going Porygon here at this spot. So I'm going to Strength Sap. Let's get some HP back. Let's gain some HP back. And now we know this thing's full moveset. We know this thing's full moveset. And we're super, super good with that. As I said, in terms of like the building blocks that have to, like the pieces that have to fall in this battle, The next thing we have to do is get some chip on our good friend Hawlucha. And it looks like he's just going to flip turn out. Try to sack this Pokemon off. Makes sense. But I'll use this as an opportunity to restore a bunch of HP. Get me right back up to full, baby. Let's go. Let's see the Calx versus Porygon Z. This is going to be telling here about what I really want to do in this turn. Tri-attack is going to kill, right? Am I dreaming? He's just going to go this. So he's going to go for the Encore, right? Encore is just the most obvious thing to click on this turn. So I can just go into this Pokemon. How do I... What's the best way to play around Encore in this turn? I can go into... I think I just go into the Frostlass, honestly, right? I think that's just the best way to play around this. Let's just go Frostlass. And then just click another Will-O-Wisp. Because the Encore is definitely coming out. He could obviously U-turn. But if he like attacks this, then I'm okay with that, right? Little switch initiative. He just uses the Encore. Okay. So now, I mean... Do I just Destiny Bond on this Pokemon and just take Uxie with me? If I take Uxie with me, then like this is just Psychic all day, right? This is just straight up Psychic all day. Yeah, I'm just gonna Destiny Bond. Why not? Let's see if he gives me this Pokemon, then the Munkidori endgame is just perfect. The Munkidori endgame is what we're playing for, and we're happy with that. He also doesn't know that I'm Choice Scarf, right? Like he could go into something random on this turn and it get weird for him. But I'll just Destiny Bond here. He's gonna withdraw. Okay. I didn't really have a productive click here anyway, right? Like in comes Rain Man. I mean, this thing's gonna take a spike. This thing's just gonna take a lot of damage, right? So I'm gonna have to switch out here. I can't. I mean, like, do I just Destiny Bond again? I might as well take it, I guess. I'm trying to think of like how much better value I can get out of this Pokemon. Obviously, would have really liked to get this on Uxie, but now with the hazards up, this Pokemon's not doing anything with the Choice Scarf. So I might as well just Destiny Bond again. See if he'll just give me this Pokemon, right? Oh yeah, this doesn't work. I'm obviously dumb. Whatever, that's fine. But this is good. This is good for me. I had to sack this Pokemon. There's nothing I could do. But this Pokemon is now dead. Swampert is basically dead now, this battle. And we've gotten good value out of that. We just now need to figure out the rest of the damage on his team to get the Munkidori win. We still have, look, the Munkidori win is good. I keep waffling the same thing, but like, as I said, I'm not feeling super awesome today, so my brain is like super hyper fixated on trying to like lock in to make sure I win this game. I just need to get a little bit... I think the Chestnut is Boots, given that I don't think it took Spikes damage, so that's going to be... That helps with that. Hawlucha could be Scarf as well, but we have that covered off with the Hawlucha. And he's got to pick the Pokemon he goes into here. And if he goes into Porygon, we just go Munkidori. And we claim a kill with Sludge Wave. Because he has to go Uxie, is his best play. And then, what do you do from there? To sack that Pokemon, right? Like, it's... He's in the Munkidori. He's kind of in that situation where I think the tools are running out too quickly. A dash. Well, I guess I'll just go into this guy. This is what he's here for, right? This is what Mudsail's here for, right? To deal with this Pokemon. I had to bring him out, right? There's really nothing else I could do in this situation. I could Smackdown. I could Roar. If I Roar, I get a little bit of information on his set. What is... So Munkidori versus Hawlucha. I'm trying to think of, like, what are the sets that live? Like, he's got to be some, like, crazy set to live from full. And if he just goes for something like the U-turn, this Roar could just be super nice here. I'll just Roar, right? Like, if he tries to do something silly, yeah. Roar also gives me a situation, right, where if he tries to go into this, Yeah, so this is definitely boots. And now I know that this Hawlucha set obviously can't do much against me. Or can't do anything against me, is it allows me to leverage that later. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I'll just get up my rocks at this point. He obviously has to switch out. Even if he adds Ds in the worst case, I just roar that out again, and then I know Psychic kills. So let me get up another layer of hazards here. That'll give me some chip damage on... That'll give me information on the Hawlucha. And it could be relevant chip damage as well. Let's not forget about that. Here is a tough spot. I think my spot, right, is just to continue to go Sinistcha every time. Because Sinistcha at this point is... I think Sinistcha is a pretty productive turn to go for here. It's really hard for him to switch into. This thing is obviously dead to any Munkidori attack. Yeah, let's just go Sinistcha. I think Sinistcha, I wouldn't say has outstayed its welcome, but like it's certainly done much more than I think it had to in this battle. That's for sure. And in comes Lavar Ball. I assume just another spike here gets up, or he just goes for like a wood hammer. Yeah, just gonna get up another layer of spikes. These spikes are a little annoying in theory, but I don't think the theory actually plays out to where they matter too much. I could nasty plot, but then he goes right into Uxie. If he goes right into Uxie, that just doesn't work out well for me. So I'll just Matcha Gotcha, right? Let's just try to burn this. If we burn this Pokemon, then that's obviously feels very, very nice. If we catch the Uxie, then that's also really good as well. Because that means we get a burn chance. We get to see... It's probably berry, right? Like citrus berry, if I had to guess. And we're still not tearing, right? The tear is just not important. In the battle, I mean, I could bait him to wood hammer me, but I don't think that's going to be really helpful. All right, a little bit of damage. That's not bad. Get a little bit of HP back. HP back on this thing is always nice, and he's just gonna knock off. Okay. Well, I don't have an item, so that doesn't really change things too much. I guess I can Strength Sap now and just gain some HP back. He can go to Porygon, I guess. I might as well Matcha Gotcha, right? Like, at this point, I might as well just, like, prevent something like Uxie from coming in here and just get some chip damage. If I get this thing burned, like, at this point, I really just want a free turn with Munkidori. All right, let's see what he goes into. Really, if he goes Porygon Z, I'm happy. He just goes this Pokemon. Okay, this is a sack. Good. All right. Goodbye, Swampert. This dies to rocks. I guess whatever one is first, right? We'll see who gets the kill after. I think it's Spikes that's going to get the kill. And now I think he just goes into Porygon Z. Is his safest play. And then I can just go Munkidori. He's got a little bit of hazards up. I don't think there's a lot of priority here that really matters in this battle. I'm trying to think of like Porygon Z's priority profile, like what it has for priority. Nothing, right? Yeah. What's Hawlucha's priority like? That could be the other thing to really keep an eye on here as this battle reaches its conclusion. Upper hand. Yeah, that's not one we're worried about. No, like, quick attack. Yeah, no sort of priority here. It's the Scarf we have to watch out for at this point. I think he just goes Porygon 2 here. Or he just goes this. Am I just okay with that? I'm okay with this, right? Surely, right? I don't know, like, what, like, this would necessarily scare me of. I guess I'll just Matcha Gotcha. Maybe he's trying to bait a Hex turn, but, like, that doesn't make sense, right? Because he would just go into it. I'll just Matcha Gotcha, see what he wants to do. He, like, is really struggling to break this Pokemon down at this point. Which I'm also, like, really surprised he didn't go into Porygon there, because then that actually puts me into a difficult spot. I guess he thinks I just sack off the Goodra. He's gonna encore me. Okay. I'm actually very okay with that, I think. This is now in psychic range now. I mean, especially after Stealth Rocks, right? Like, this is now in range of the... This is now totally in range of my, my Munkidori now. I can just click Psychic. He's just going to Psychic Noise. Okay. So, Uxie is now gone. If I hit, obviously. If I miss... Oh, I can't use Matcha Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, oh, that's how that works. Duh. I think at this point it's time to say goodbye to... I think it's time to say goodbye to Gudra. I still think, like, this... Sinistcha still has value elsewhere, right? I don't think there's really an opportunity to get value out of this thing. And then I can go into Munkidori, go for the U-turn. I guess I can go for the Psychic, right? I'm starting to wonder... There's not an opportunity, I think, for this Pokemon left in this battle. There may not be an opportunity for this as well, but... I want to set up a Munkidori endgame, I think. And if he goes for like a U-turn here, then I trap it in. But yeah, now it's trapped in with U-turn. Alright, it's time to start clicking Psychic, right? There's nothing that could get me here. Yeah, let's just go... Let's go Munkidori, and let's just click Psychic. There's a lot of hazards up, so I can only come in twice. But this turn, that's a kill, which is what matters. Chestnut, I think, could technically have Fake Out here, actually. And we'll take this Pokemon with us. Oh my god, why did it not kill? Why didn't I calc that, man? What the hell? What is the calc on that? Is that not even close? Dude. Sigh. Yeah, that's annoying. I think this is still fine, right? Because it still boots on the thing. How do I play around this now? Oh my god, that's so dumb. That's just such an unforced error, right? Like, I just click Psychic thinking that's going to kill. Such an unforced error at such a stupid time. Really just not happy with that. I mean, I'm no one to blame but myself for that. I should have just Sludge Wave, kept it simple, but... Yeah. Whatever, I'll Sludge Wave now. Yeah, that's just an inexcusable play by me on that turn, which is super annoying, right? Like, really, really hate to put myself in a position where I have a good chance to win and lose to something like that, where it's just like, it's not even thinking. And now this will obviously be faster. And now I'm obviously in a position I have to sack this, yeah. 79 HP, what percentage is 79 HP? Yeah, it's dead to the hazards now, just barely. Wow, that is. Talk about just like a lot. Look, I focus so much on that end game, right? And to just like to throw it away at like the end line is just such a disappointment in myself. All right, let's go into Mudsdale. Let's see what we can do. Right, if he just attacks, I can make a play maybe into Sinistcha. Acrobatics, that'll do a little bit of chip damage. Up the damage with Stamina. He's gonna go into... Yeah, the fact that this thing dies is really annoying. I'm trying to think of how I even like do anything productive on this turn. I'll just roar, I guess. I mean, he's gonna go Chestnut. But like, I mean, like, how does this help? This doesn't help. I guess if he goes Halucha, this, like, technically, if it goes Halucha, I can maybe, like, timer stall this out a little bit. I'm obviously not going to do that. That would be stupid. It's obviously, like, in theory an out for this game. Man, that's so lame to come that close and make a dumb play like that, right? Oh, man. It's not even thinking in the calculator. I could roar this. I'll just roar again. Yeah, he's just gonna keep switching. In comes this. Like, in theory, like, the end game, right, that I can go for is still potentially Sinistra. Depending on what the... Like, the Sinistra, I can get an attack download on... The guy being frozen, too, is super annoying. Because this is a special attack rate. Yeah, like, if the guy wasn't frozen, then I would be in a good spot, too, still, right? Frig. I guess I have to sack this guy now. This is a super stupid play. You know what? If I lose, I lose. That's on me. We'll be back next week. But like, this is still in theory not over, right? Like, there's still stuff that can go my way here. Frustrating. Frustrating to say the least. And he just uses Ice Beam. It fails. I'm gonna have to go into this, right, and try to unthaw. I have to try to unthaw here on this turn. It's the only option I have. If he goes Chestnut, then I sack this Pokemon, go into my Sinisha, then Sinisha has a chance, but not a good one at the very least. I really, really want this unthaw here, man. This unthaw would unthaw and kill this, like, the angles, like, actually start to open up at that point. Like, it actually, then this actually becomes possible. Though I think that if you're responsible on Kurt's side, you just go straight into. All right, we got a chance. We got a chance. We get a chance. Please wake up. Come on, man. Oh, if I get the kill, then I have a shot in this battle, right? I have a shot, but alas, the shot is taken away at the very end. Not much you can do about that one, right? I guess I get a 50-50 now with Sinistra. In theory, it's a 50-50, though I think... Yeah, I mean, I'll play for it, I guess. Why not? Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, really, really apologies for that, guys. That's just, like, the play. And I mean, I'm so low HP, doesn't even matter. You just Ice Beam, right? Whatever. I'll Terra and I'll Manchagacha, and we'll see how that goes. Let's see if that works out. But yeah, that's just a really inexcusable play by me. I don't, like, that's just a lack of concentration. I know when I'm in a... lack of concentration, unfortunately. If I Sludge Wave, this game is so much different, right? This game can just... It's just so much easier for me. And he goes for the Shadow Ball, like, this obviously will kill. And we'll lose... We're going to lose to Kurt. There's still so much time left in the season to get back on track. Especially, like, I feel like I'm losing in situations. I continue to lose in situations that I know how to improve from. It's like, at the end of the day, like, how disappointed... Like, I'm obviously just, you know, be disappointed, but, you know, if you have a path to improvement, that's always going to be helpful. But yeah, unfortunately, just like, yeah, this is kind of one of those inexcusable moments, right, that you inevitably sometimes will have, and I've had a few more of them that I'd like this season in the builder and in the play. So, hey, that's on me. Good game to Kurt. I think this was a matchup that I think he had a lot of positives going for him. Obviously, you know, like, the Feraligatr was really good. I had a really fortunate, you know, certain turn sequence at the start to get that Pokemon, and I played it to the end game that I really wanted perfectly. But just, like, the execution at the end just doesn't justify, I think, the build that I had this week. That I think was pretty good into what Kurt was doing. And alas, it just wasn't enough. So that's unfortunate. Obviously, I'm disappointed in that performance. But as I said, we still have 6 more games left to go. Obviously, you have to put on a big tear to win. But I'll back myself above anyone else. So Thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Obviously, that performance not super worthy of a subscription, but we got a lot of cool Draft League content coming. You definitely want to get subscribed for that. That's all I have. We'll see you guys next time. And as always, have a wonderful day.